The only nice thing I will say about the dating apps is, again, they help you figure out what you consider romantically viable. Hey everyone, today I want to talk about how dating apps quietly rewired our standards. As I've talked about in previous videos, and I'm going to say again, I developed a habit of swiping left on any profile where I saw a woman with a drink in her hand, or with a piercing I just didn't like, the septum one in particular. You know, the one that goes, here, I don't really get it, but her body, her choice. I didn't swipe left on these women because they were rude, and not because we didn't share values. The moment I saw the septum piercing or the drink and confirmation that she did drink, I decided that she was just not romantically viable. I stand by my preferences. I do not want to be around drinking, which I'd say is more valid than the septum piercings one. You can let me know in the comments down below what you think of all that. But anyway, I've realized that dating apps didn't create my preferences, they just refine them. So I guess, hey, you could argue that they're a good thing because they make people explore what they actually want. My only real complaint is they train me to see people as pass or fail within seconds. But before we get into all that, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for daily videos of cultural commentary from a man caught between generations. Anyway, my standards got stricter over time. I didn't start off hyper picky. Actually, towards the end of college, I was like, okay, I think I can date a woman who does drink. But over the course of using dating apps from 2019 up until 2024, so about 5 years, I was nudged into becoming instinctive and eventually deciding to be as selective as I hear women are, according to the likes of Better Bachelor, which they actually do have more reason to be selective compared to men. Let me put it to you this way. According to abnormal psychology professor, women have to deal with the consequences of an unexpected pregnancy in a way men don't. Yes, with the court system and such, men can be tracked down, confirmed to be the father, and then on the hook for child support. Or they don't even have to be confirmed to be the father. They can still get on the hook for child support, as I learned from some stories I've heard from the likes of Strong Successful Male and Dapper Dev, but that's beside the point. The point is, the dating apps made me more instinctive over time. As soon as I saw drinking, smoking, or drug use, I swiped left. As soon as I saw a septum piercing, swiped left. At first, I'll admit I was the stereotypical lonely guy who swiped right on literally everyone just to hopefully get a chance. But no, that didn't work either. Obviously, it's a lose-lose situation on dating apps if you're a man. You swipe right on every woman you see. Very few of them are likely to swipe right on you. That's assuming that they aren't just bots and filler and such put out by the dating app companies to make it look like you have options. But over time, I became more selective. I narrowed my definition of romantically viable. Yeah, believe it or not, men are capable of having standards. I know that it's said that men just want to do the deed, but it is possible for men to actually have standards. It essentially built a silent algorithm in my head that I stand by for the most part. You can argue against the septum piercings if you want, but if you try to argue that I should be okay with drinking being around me, I'm gonna have to push back on that. The key point is, none of that makes someone a bad person, just not romantically viable for me. And that's the trap. I was not dating anymore, I was filtering. The pitch of dating apps is that you'll find your person faster. But the reality is, the bar gets higher, your patience gets lower, and eventually, nobody feels right. Even when you pay for better filtering, the outcome's the same. It just confirms that no one meets your standard. Or at least, I'm pretty sure that's what would have happened if I'd paid for the premium tiers of Bumble or Hinge. I would have said, no drinking, no smoking, no April 20th, no other drugs. I would have eventually found there were, like, I could count on one hand the number of women who selected sober for the drinking question, as in, they actively avoided drinking like I do. Just goes to show, the paid tiers would actually be a scam, not because of why you might think. No, it's because you'll eventually realize that there's no one out there and that there's no guarantee of finding anyone. I wasn't frustrated that I couldn't find someone. I was frustrated that I couldn't stop disqualifying people, or that it became more effort than it was worth. Let me put it to you this way. I was getting tired of having to sift through so many profiles to find a romantically viable option based on what was presented to me. I got tired of having to disqualify so many, but I also didn't want to have to spend the money and then end up not even having anyone to disqualify, or to just, or because there was no guarantee that I would hear back from the qualified matches that I would, the qualified potential matches, I should say, that I would find as soon as I went out and paid for the apps and then sent out the likes. Like I said, I would not be surprised if I did pay for that and I filtered out all the substance and smoking. I would probably be able to count on one hand the number of romantically viable options, in my opinion. Even the deeper apps still stay superficial. Hinge, Bumble, and a couple of others promise more depth, but if we're being real, pictures still dominate, prompts still become red flag tests, and you're still swiping on a hunch, not a person. So, for all you know, it could be an inactive account. It could be that they didn't update those details. Maybe they're even lying about something. Like, I could easily lie on a dating app if I wanted to. I choose not to because I don't like that. Really, you are trusting that whatever the other person is saying is true. You are trusting that everyone is being honest, or at least truthful enough in a way where if the brutally honest truth came out, it wouldn't be that bad. Because if I learned anything from Agent Carter, it's that there's a difference between honesty and truthfulness. Honesty is just saying exactly what's going on. Truthfulness is giving someone the idea of it, but not lying about. But they're not lying. They're still giving you something that's true. You could say it's true from a certain point of view, as old Ben Kenobi said. Both sexes are capable of lying or being manipulative. Personally, I'm not against some level of manipulation to enhance what's already there. The problem is if it's a blatant lie. Anyway, moving on. The male experience and the female experience on the apps are also different. We all know that. My thing is that from what I start from what I see is men start distrusting anyone who's too attractive, and if they look too perfect, it's either fake or a setup, or probably a promotion for OF. Because again, most men just automatically swipe right in the hopes of getting a match. Some even, unfortunately, lowering their standards, which I don't agree with, but your life, your choice. Meanwhile, women just swipe out anything that doesn't scream Chad. And I get it. The apps train them to distrust anyone who feels mediocre, even though, like in the 40-year-old virgin, there's more to it than the deed. And as I've said in a video in the past, looks can be a starting point, but you gotta go from there. There's gotta be more to them than meets the eye. Basically, we're all trying to outsmart disappointment, so we pre-reject anything that might waste our time. Just like how I will automatically reject alcohol, smoking, April 20th, because I know it would be a waste of my time. I do not want to have to deal with any of that. I don't want to smell any of that. It's just not for me, and that's kind of why I looked into Lucid, the sober dating app, but I talked about my experience on that one. Honestly, it wasn't much better. The only difference was I automatically swiped left on the septum piercings or anything else like that, or any other red flags. I mean, I will say this, at no extra cost, it eliminated the need to filter out for that particular red flag, at least in my mind. So, dating apps basically don't work for us because we're not bitter, we're just done pretending this system works. I know what I want. I'm clear on what's not romantically viable. The only nice thing I will say about the dating apps is, again, they help you figure out what you consider romantically viable. So, credit for that, I guess. The structure makes that clarity feels like a curse, though. As in, as soon as you see something in the picture, you don't like it, you swipe left. You don't even look at the rest of the profile. The question then is, who do you blame? You let me know in the comments down below whether you should blame the user who got swiped left on because they didn't lead with their best picture, or they included a picture that got them the left swipe in the first place, or if you think the problem is that the person who swiped left. And this goes either way, by the way. If it's their fault for not looking beyond that, though, you let me know in the comments who you think is to blame. The bottom line is, dating apps don't fail because I'm too picky. They fail because they reward that pickiness until no one makes the cut. The hard truth is that the algorithm trains you to build a partner from filters, but real connection doesn't work that way. Though, with that being said, if you want to end a relationship early on for any particular reason, you have the right to do so, but you have to accept the consequence of what happens after that. The loneliness, the fallout from all that. You have the freedom to do so, but you have to accept the consequences. And this is mostly early on for the most part. It's a little different when you go into long term dating or marriage. Marriage is an entirely different game because of divorce courts and all that. Long term relationships, they can be treated like marriage in certain territories. Look up what the laws say for your particular jurisdiction on whether a long term relationship can be retroactively defined as a marriage. Talk to a lawyer about that, not me. But I digress. Anyway, the scariest thing dating apps did wasn't that they wasted our time, they convinced us that love should be frictionless, that the right person will pass every test on the first glance. So, what's your version of not romantically viable? And did dating apps make you more selective or just more cynical? I'd love to know. You let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. Also, before you go, don't forget to give this video a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe for daily videos from cultural commentary from a man caught between generations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.